Okay, everyone is panicking right now. We keep hearing about layoffs across different industries, tech companies are cutting jobs, AI is becoming part of almost every workflow, and graphic design is always mentioned in this conversation. Hi, my name is Maria Toka, I'm a freelance graphic designer, and in this video I'm gonna explore deeper this topic of what is actually going on in graphic design industry right now. A lot of people who are planning to become graphic designers are now questioning if it still makes sense. Some are even thinking about changing careers completely. And honestly, from the outside, it really does feel like the industry might be collapsing. So in this video, I want to take a step back and look at what is actually happening, not just based on my opinion, but based on real data. I looked at Figma's State of the Designer 2026 article, which came out in February this year. Also Figma's article on why demand for designers is increasing now, and the Clutch report about the design industry in 2026. And I want to understand what is really going on. Let's start with layoffs, because that's where the most of the fear is coming from. There are a lot of layoffs happening right now, especially in tech. But when you look specifically at graphic design, there's no clear data showing that designers are being massively replaced by AI. Most layoffs are happening in broader roles like operations and general business functions. What is happening in design is slightly different. The reports suggesting that companies are reducing the need for basic and repetitive work, especially at the junior level. This is because AI now can handle simple tasks much better and faster. So instead of removing designers completely, companies are changing how they structure their teams. Now let's look at the Clutch report, because it shows how businesses actually think about design. First, around 90% of businesses still use graphic designers. That's already a good start. This means that design is still a core part of how companies operate. Second, around 88% of companies are already using AI tools. That's quite a high percentage, to be fair. So AI is clearly being adopted very quickly. But even with that, only a relatively small number of companies have reduced hiring designers. Another important point is that many companies are increasing their design budgets. So even though AI is being used, investment in design is not going down. The report also shows that design has a direct impact on business results. Well, that's not surprising for us, especially who does brand design. We understand that really well. Around 31% of companies say that design has the biggest impact on advertising performance. Around 30% say it directly affects social media engagement. So design is not visual anymore. It is directly connected to performance. Another interesting thing from the Clutch report is what companies are actually looking for when they hire graphic designers. Because this is where the expectations really become clear. Businesses are not just looking for someone to execute tasks anymore. They are not hiring designers just to make something for them. They are hiring for creative and strategic value. And when you look at how they rank different skills, the difference is pretty extreme. You can see the numbers, I will show you the statistics. Creativity is the most important factor, with about 39% of companies saying it's their top priority. That's quite surprising, to be honest, 39%. After that comes strategic thinking and reliability. But things like speed, affordability, or even industry experience are much lower on the list. So companies are clearly not looking for the cheapest and fastest option. So AI is not going to replace designers fully, at least according to this report. They are looking for people who can actually think, contribute ideas, and help shape the direction of a project. And now let's look at what designers themselves are saying, because this is where it gets really interesting. According to Figma's State of the Designer 2026 report, most designers are already using AI in their workflow. Around 72% of designers are using AI tools regularly. That's quite a high percentage, to be honest, based on what I see on social media on my Instagram, I don't know, maybe it's only my grid, seems to show me like very anti-AI content. It seems like everyone just hates it, but maybe that's a completely different demographics or different type of designers that Figma asked to create this report. So I'm not sure about that. It seems like at this point, AI is not something optional anymore. It's already part of how people work. And when you look at how it affects their work, the results are actually very different from what people expect. 91% of designers say that AI improves their designs. Again, it's pretty difficult for me to believe in that number. 91% is a lot. Maybe I would believe that if we mean graphic design in general sense, not generative, not creating something completely new from scratch, but more like in utilitarian sense, when you just need to expand the background or upscale an image, maybe for things like that. Yes, it's a lot more believable to think that 91% of designers are positive about it. But still, it's a little questionable. Just a comment from me from what I notice. 89% say they work faster. This is not that surprising, to be honest. And 80% say collaboration has improved. So instead of lowering quality, most designers actually feel like AI is helping them do better work. Another interesting insight is that designers are not just producing more work, they're also maintaining or even improving the quality while doing it. At the same time, the industry feels very split. Some designers feel optimistic, while others feel uncertain. I would also add another category, which is very negative about AI, because again, that's something I'm witnessing all the time. In fact, 36% say that the industry is getting better. 35% say it's getting worse, and the rest think it's about the same. So there's no clear consensus yet, which is why Figma describes this moment as a messy middle. And one more important thing, when designers talk about what actually matters in their work, a lot of them still focus on core design skills. For example, 58% say that visual design is one of the most important skills. Again, a bit questionable what exactly they mean by visual design. Okay, but alright, that's a report from Figma. And many also highlight things like collaboration and problem solving as key skills. So even with all these new tools, the fundamentals haven't changed. One of the most important insights from Figma is about demand. Around 82% of companies say demand for designers stayed the same or increased. Some industries are seeing noticeable growth in hiring needs. This is happening across different sectors, not just tech. The reason for this is that design is now involved in a lot more areas than before. It is used in product design, marketing, communication, digital experiences. So even though tools are improving, the overall need for design is not decreasing. So I think it's pretty obvious that we can't ignore AI in graphic design anymore. But there are different ways to use it. You can either use it blindly, without putting much thought into it, or you can use it in a smarter way, almost like it's your collaborator. And honestly, the best results come when you combine your own taste and creativity with the speed of AI. And this is something you can actually do now with Skywork. Let's say you need to design a quick poster, but you don't want it to look like a generic AI poster. So instead of trying to get everything perfect with just one prompt, you generate a draft, and then if your image has multiple elements, but you only want to tweak one part without starting over from scratch, this is where template layers comes in. And here's how it works. Just click Split Elements and it automatically breaks your image into editable pieces. Text, foreground, background, all separated. From there, you can fine-tune each layer individually instead of redoing the whole design. It's a small change, but this is the kind of control you want to have that actually saves time. So it feels much closer to an actual design workflow, not just generating once and hoping for the best. And once you're happy with the design, you can easily just upscale it right there and download it. And here's what I ended up with. If you want to try it yourself, you can check out Skywork. I'll leave a link below and you can get 20% off. Thanks so much Skywork for partnering with me on this video and supporting the channel. And now let's get back to the video. So both reports agree on one thing. AI is changing how designers work, but not removing the need for them. AI is mostly used for generating ideas, speeding up production, handling repetitive tasks, but it does not replace decision-making, creative direction, and refinement. This means that the role of a designer is shifting. The reports show that designers are moving away from purely execution-based work. Instead, they are focusing more on decision-making, problem-solving, and refining outputs. Since AI makes it easier to generate visuals, the main value of a designer becomes the ability to evaluate and improve those visuals. This is why creativity is still ranked as the most important skill for graphic designers by businesses. It is valued more than speed or cost. So, based on all of this, graphic design is not disappearing as an industry, but it is definitely changing. AI is taking over simple and repetitive tasks and probably the junior positions as well, so it might be a bit more difficult to build your career gradually, starting from the very basic level. You straight away need to think about more complex positions and roles. So in that sense, it might be a little bit more difficult, what I can see from what's going on right now. Also, bear in mind that this data comes from only 2 sources to report that I found. And it sounds a bit too AI optimistic to me, because from what I see on the internet, which is a big backlash against AI, and a lot of designers unfollowed me because I promoted some of the AI tools on my Instagram page. And okay, that's understandable. They are clearly very anti-AI. But those who stayed, I wouldn't say they are super enthusiastic and happy about it. From the polls that I made on my stories, it seems more like they are just accepting what's going on and they understand the necessity of adapting. And that's a bit different rather than being so happy and optimistic. That's why I'm not sure about the results of these reports. They seem a bit too biased to me. Maybe that was the goal, to show us that actually a lot more designers are happy about it. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not biased. Maybe we are comparing completely different types of people, because I'm assuming a lot of my followers are not professional graphic designers. A lot of them are just students, or they're starting out, or maybe they are doing it on a side as a hobby, and that's why they are a bit more free in their opinions against AI, and it's easier for them to talk openly about this. So we'll see how it's going to evolve in the future, but at least I want to believe that this industry is still developing, it's growing. With or without AI, everyone can find their place there. If you're really interested in design, if that's what you want to pursue, that's still very much possible to do. But if you're like really against AI, I'm not sure it's going to be easy to do. I'm pretty sure it's going to be harder. So I would highly recommend to not ignore all the new AI tools, what's going on, and to at least try them out every now and then. And then you can decide if you really need them in your workflow or not. But just to stay on the safer side and stay relevant as a graphic designer, as a professional, I think that's what's going to protect you. But we clearly see that the demand for decision making is there. Maybe a lot of designers are scared of this phrase decision making. They don't want to make decisions. They just want to make designs, something very simple and straightforward, which can be replaced by AI. And that's why they are so angry about it. Well, I'm not going to start on this whole topic. I have another video about what I think about AI. You can check it out if you want. But let me know, guys, what you think about graphic design industry today. What you are noticing in particular. Are you optimistic, or do you think we're all doomed and it's just the right time to quit? Also, let me know if you're using AI in your work on a regular basis or not. I'd be really curious to know. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It would really help. And thank you so much for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye!